So we were really pleased to receive funding from the Saskatchewan Council of Archives and Archivists for our Care and History of Indigenous Peoples project. And this project was really rooted in an effort to bring greater access of information and materials to people in our community that might be searching for information about a loved one who may have stayed at a sanatoria back in the days of the tuberculosis epidemic, or have moved between residential school and sanatoria and potentially Indian hospitals as they were known at the time. So the goal of this project was really to make as much information as possible accessible to those that might have been searching for information about the journey of a loved one. And so through the funding we received from SCAA, we were able to digitize and archive thousands of photos, correspondence, and various materials that were housed or were property of the sanatoria going from the early 1900s, as early as 1911, up until the 1980s. A lot of people don't know that the great-grandparent organization of Lung Saskatchewan was the Saskatchewan Anti-Tuberculosis League. And the SATL, or Anti-Tuberculosis League, really built and operated all of the sanatoria in the province back in the days of the tuberculosis epidemic. And so because this is very much part of our history, it's part of the foundation of which our organization was built upon, we have a responsibility to ensure that anyone who needs access or wishes to have access to that history certainly does, whether that's through photos, correspondence, and various archive materials.
This project helped address Lung Saskatchewan's work on Call to Action 69. Truth and Reconciliation Call to Action 69 deals with museums and archives and providing access to information to community members and people looking for information on the journey of a loved one. Now, for Indigenous individuals seeking information on loved ones, we know there was a lot of movement between individuals between the federal residential school system, the federal Indian hospital system, and the sanatorium system. And while records may be incomplete or hard to find for some of those places of loved ones' journeys, we're able to provide a glimpse into if an individual passed through the sanatorium system, how long they stayed there, where they were, where they went, and help provide families with some, at least some clues and some starting points.
There's been so many important highlights and learnings from this project, but one that stands out to me was the opportunity to sit down with Senator Yvonne Boyer and her colleagues and talk about the Care and History of Indigenous Peoples project. And most importantly, the outcome of that conversation was getting access to digital copies of the Valley Echoes. The Valley Echoes are a very important piece of communication while the sanatoria were open. And they talked really about the comings and goings at the sands at the times. And the reason that this is important is that families might actually be able to see when and where their loved ones were at a particular time in history.
Another important highlight for us was working with the Let's Lead a Nikanatan program from Saskatoon Public Schools and engaging with this group of very inquisitive and mindful grade 7 and 8 students. You know, I think whenever you can bring questions to teenagers, they ask the hard questions, and just getting to engage with them. And as they explored Saskatoon's history, particularly with regards to the Saskatoon Sanatorium site and the greater stories of Indigenous communities within healthcare, getting to engage with them and their questions was a huge privilege.
We've been able to work with the National Centre for Truth and Reconciliation. Of course, one of our partners was the File Hills Qu'Appelle Health Region in this project. We formed an amazing partnership with the Office of the Treaty Commissioner and several other academics and volunteers. We've also involved an Elders Council in Saskatchewan through our partnership with the OTC. And so the more people that know about this work and that it's happening and can also provide insight into the most culturally sensitive way and appropriate way to get this information out to the people that need it most has been an incredible learning opportunity.
So this collection contains a great amount of photographic material from the sanatorium system, as well as other records. And these photos can be a great opportunity to provide glimpses into loved ones' stories at a time when maybe they don't have many other photos or from a particular period of someone's life. And I think photos also jog our memories and bring back stories and help tell the stories of these places and these systems. At the Office of the Treaty Commissioner, one of the Elders' Councils we attended, as we passed around just a pile of photos from the Fort Qu'Appelle Sanatorium site, one of the elders attending immediately goes, "Oh, I know him. This was my friend, this was his story, this was his journey." And that photo was able to help bring that back and reopen that conversation and that story there.
If folks are interested in learning more about the project, they can always visit Memory Sask. They can certainly come to lungsask.ca. And we are just in the process of working with the Provincial Archives of Saskatchewan to ensure that all of these records and this collection has great longevity and is cared for safely with the Provincial Archives.